Good evening, and welcome to the Boys from the Baltic Star. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you live or on demand. We normally, on a Saturday, play a narrative game of some kind, and last night we were talking about the aftermath of last night's stream. So let's first do a quick introduction. I'm Ben, and with me tonight is Ewan. How are you, Ewan?
I'm very good, thanks, Ben. Apart from the poorly timed taking of my drink.
Well, you know, I could say it was a pure accident, but
That would be doing us both a disservice, I feel.
it would be doing us. I think we'd both feel bad about that. Yes. So, as as we know, last night we were playing a fighting fantasy game book, the 50th in the series, which was called Return to Firetop Mountain. And it was actually our second session of doing it, so it was for us the Return to Firetop Mountain.
Yep.
So tonight we are returning to the Warlock of Firetop Mountain for the second time. So it's the Return to the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. We were chatting afterwards and we said, since we'd just done the revisit, book number 50, it might be nice to revisit book number 1 again, which we did a long time ago. And neither of us can remember anything about it. Well, I can't remember a lot. Can you?
No. There's a warlock. There's a mountain. Something to do with a treasure chest, I think, and some keys that we need to collect. But
yeah, that's about what I've got as well. I seem to remember there were a lot of doors, and it was where we established our tradition that when we see a door,
indeed.
we are forced to open it.
Yeah.
So, last time we probably had to explain to everyone exactly how we do this from the beginning, but this time I think everybody's probably pretty au fait with it because we've done a lot of these books now.
Yeah.
So what we do is roll up 2 characters exactly as standard, and then we penalise ourselves to the tune of 4 points on the stats.
Yes.
Because of course we do. That just makes it a bit more fair because we're going to go through together. And that's a thing that we do, just go through together. Now, I mean, you'll be delighted to know that this time we don't get any provisions, but we do get some potions.
Yes. I'd written down rations, but I forgot that. We get a choice of potion, don't we? Is that
We
correct?
do,
Or is
yes.
that later on?
Yes, this is one of those. So let's start with some basic stats. So for our skill, we roll 1d6 and add 6 to it. And that's a 3 for me, total of 9.
I'll take a 6.
Wow.
For a 12, which feels good.
Although, yeah, it does. Good start.
It feels like a good one to take something off of at the minute.
Yes. Yeah. Then we have roll 2d6 and add 12 for stamina. That's an 8 for me.
Mine is a 9.
So I get a total of 20. And then luck, 1d6 plus 6. And that's another 3. So I'm mediocre, it's fair to say, at basic stats.
Yeah, mine is a 2 plus 6 is an 8.
None of mine are terrible, not completely in the toilet, but none of them are brilliant either. So, now's the bad bit. We have to take off 4 points from those. Having rolled slightly below average for skill and luck, I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave them untouched. And I'm going to drop my stamina to a mere 16.
I think I'm going to take 2 off of my skill. No. I'm not. I'm going to take 1 off of my skill. I'm going to take 1 off of my luck, and I'm going to take 2 off of my stamina.
Okay. All right. Then we have some basic equipment, which is a sword, some armor, leather armor, a rucksack,
Very nice.
and a lantern.
Which came in really handy when we returned to Firetop.
When we returned to Firetop Mountain, that was excellent. Yes, it was in fact the method of our doom, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, in a roundabout way, it certainly was. It allowed us to read some kind of curse.
I mean, to be honest, we didn't actually die of lantern; we died of chair. But it was lantern that put the clock on us.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so we may take 1 bottle of a magical potion, a potion of skill, which restores all your skill points, a potion of strength, which restores all your stamina points, or a potion of fortune, which restores all your luck points and adds 1 to your initial luck.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Each bottle of potion contains enough for 2 measures.
Ooh.
So the characteristic may be restored twice during an adventure. So effectively we have 2 measures of our choice, but we can only choose 1, but we can get 2 goes with it.
Yeah.
And apparently we may encounter provisions to restore our stamina as we go, which makes me think I'm going to go with fortune.
I am going to go with strength, sorry, potion of strength to restore my stamina, because I've already written it down. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Because I am weak, undeniably, in stamina, but I'm almost as weak in the others, and I don't know that we'll get many opportunities to do restoring anything other than with food, But I can't remember now. It's been too long.
Yes, yeah, exactly. How much does it restore, did you say?
It gets you fully topped up, back up to your starting level.
Perfect.
And in the case of luck, it adds 1 to your original as well.
Yes.
Okay, so rumours. Only a foolhardy adventurer would embark upon such a perilous quest without first finding out as much as possible about the mountain and its treasures. Before your arrival at the foot of Firetop Mountain, you spent several days with the townsfolk of a local village, some 2 days' journey from the base. Being a likeable sort of person, you found it easy to get on with the local peasants. Although they told many stories about the mysterious Warlock's sanctuary, you could not feel sure that all, or indeed any of these, were based on fact. The villagers had seen many adventurers pass through on their way to the mountain, but very few ever returned. The journey ahead was extremely dangerous, that you knew for certain. Of those who returned to the village, none contemplated going back to Firetop Mountain. There seemed to be some truth in the rumour that the Warlock's treasure was stored in a magnificent chest with 2 locks, and the keys to these locks were guarded by various creatures within the dungeons. The Warlock himself was a sorcerer of great power. Some described him as old, others as young. Some said his power came from an enchanted deck of cards, others from the silky black gloves that he wore. The entrance to the mountain was guarded by a pack of warty-faced goblins, stupid creatures, fond of their food and drink. Towards the inner chambers the creatures became more fearsome. To reach the inner chambers you would have to cross a river. The ferry service was regular, but the ferryman enjoyed a good barter, so you should save a gold piece for the trip. The locals also encouraged you to keep a good map of your wanderings, for without a map you would end up hopelessly lost within the mountain. When it finally came to your day of leaving, The whole village turned out to wish you a safe journey. Tears came to the eyes of many of the women, young and old alike. You couldn't help wondering whether they were tears of sorrow shed by eyes which would never see you alive again. Paragraph 1. At last your 2-day hike is over. You unsheath your sword, lay it on the ground and sigh with relief as you lower yourself down onto the mossy rocks to sit for a moment's rest. You stretch, rub your eyes and finally look up at Firetop Mountain. The very mountain itself looks menacing. The steep face in front of you looks to have been savaged by the claws of some gargantuan beast. Sharp rocky crags jut out at unnatural angles. At the top of the mountain you can see the eerie red colouring, probably some strange vegetation, which has given the mountain its name. Perhaps no one will ever know exactly what grows up there, as climbing the peak must surely be impossible. Your quest lies ahead of you. Across the clearing is a dark cave entrance. You pick up your sword, get to your feet and consider what dangers may lie ahead of you. But with determination you thrust the sword home into its scabbard and approach the cave. You peer into the gloom to see dark slimy walls with pools of water on the stone floor in front of you. The air is cold and dank. You light your lantern and step warily into the blackness. Cobwebs brush your face and you hear the scurrying of tiny feet. Rats, most likely. You set off into the cave. After a few yards you arrive at a junction. Will you turn west or east? Okay.
Straight in.
Yeah. No messing about with this one, is there?
Not at all.
I actually don't recall which way we went here. And I suspect it's critical to get this right.
Yeah, I think you're probably correct.
East or west? Or do we let the dice decide? Because, I mean, we don't have any other information, do we?
That's true. It's gut feeling or dice. Make a roll for it.
Okay, 1, 2, 3 west, 4, 5, 6 east.
Yeah.
That's a 5. So I guess we're going east. We turn to 2, 7, 8. The passageway soon comes to an end at a locked wooden door. You listen at the door but hear nothing. Will you try to charge the door down? If so, turn to 156. If you'd rather turn around and go back, turn to 92.
Ooh.
So the question is this a, are you really sure, and here's your opportunity to go back?
Well, I mean, there's been no horrible screams or otherwise intended doom this way messages, other than you can't get through the door. Do you want to charge it? But that being said, we have quite often refused the opportunity to turn back and ended up dead.
The question, however, comes to me is this. I don't remember if we went west or east last time, and I don't remember how far through this book it was that we established our rule about doors.
It couldn't have been this early on.
Yeah, probably not. So I suspect last time, whether or not we charged the door, this time we're kind of forced to, aren't we? Because it's a door.
Yeah. I mean, part of me thinks, also, we did get quite far last time. So if we didn't, but maybe we did, and it just wasn't because of the rule. Maybe we just did it anyway.
Yeah, maybe we
And it
did.
is, and as you say, it's a door. So
Okay, well, let's try to charge it. I mean, it's possible that this will end up with just us just getting bruised, but let's give it a shot. We will try to charge the door down. Turn to 156.
very good.
Okay, you charge the door with your shoulder. Roll 2 dice. If the number rolled is less than or equal to your skill, you succeed. And if it's greater than your skill, you rub your bruised shoulder and decide against trying again. Okay, so one of us has to test our skill. Are you going to be odds as usual?
If you don't mind, Ben.
Not at all. That is a 1. So it's your go to test skill.
That'll be me. Less than or equal to.
Less than or equal to.
Very good. Yeah, that's fine. That's an 8.
Excellent. So we succeed. Turn to 343.
Ooh.
The door bursts open and you fall headlong into a room. But your heart jumps as you realise you're not landing on the floor but plunging down a pit of some kind. Luckily, the pit is not particularly deep and you land in a heap less than 2 metres down. Lose a stamina point for your bruises. Climb out of the pit into the room and leave through the door heading westwards.
Oh.
So that literally
Wow.
just achieved us 1 lost stamina point. Okay. We go back to the junction and turn to 92.
That being said, that sort of rung a little bit of a bell.
Yeah. We lost us. Effectively, we either lost a stamina point by being bruised by the door or falling down the pit. That the only thing that could happen if you went east and didn't heed its warning and go back was
turn around.
Cost a stamina point.
Which I suppose is a nice little introduction to how
It
the
is.
game
Yeah, a little bit of a warning.
tries to kill you.
Yeah. Okay. You arrive back at the junction in the passage. You look left to see the cave entrance in the dim distance, but walk straight on. Turn to 71. This is literally where we'd have ended up if we'd not done any of that.
Very good.
Okay. There is a right-hand turn to the north in the passage. Cautiously, you approach a sentry post on the corner, and as you look in, you can see a strange goblin-like creature in leather armour asleep at his post. You try to tiptoe past him. Test your luck. If you're lucky, he doesn't wake up and remains snoring loudly. If you're unlucky, you step with a crunch on some loose ground and his eyes flick open. Okay, let's find out who gets to test. Okay, that's a 4. My turn to test my luck.
That seems fair.
And I have rolled a 4, which is underneath my luck by a considerable margin. So that costs me a luck point. But we sneak past without waking him. So he doesn't wake up. We turn to 301. Excellent stuff. To your left, on the west face of the passage, there is a rough-cut wooden door. You listen at the door and can hear a rasping sound which may be some sort of creature snoring. Do you want to open the door or do you want to press on northwards? Well, I mean, obviously I'm going to ask for your input, but truthfully, it's a door.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Yeah, let's do it.
We are going to open the door and turn to 82. The door opens to reveal a small, smelly room. In the centre of the room is a rickety wooden table on which stands a lit candle. Underneath the table is a small wooden box. Asleep on a straw mattress in the far corner of the room is a short, stocky creature with an ugly, warty face. The same sort of creature that you found asleep at the sentry post. He must be the guard for the night watch. You may either return to the corridor and press on northwards, or creep into the room and try to take the box without waking the creature. If you want to try to steal the box, test your luck. Okay. So we don't have to creep into the room and try to steal the box.
Yeah.
But, I mean, realistically, don't we have to find out what's in the box? It could be something really useful.
Well, we say this every time, but also Ewan really wants to know what's in the box.
Yes.
I don't want to miss out on something good. It's the fear of missing out.
Okay, let's find out whose luck gets tested. It's a 3 this time. Your turn to test luck.
John, yeah, we want to let people sleep. We don't want to wake them up. We just want the box.
Yeah. Yes, we want to let them sleep. We just want to steal from them, John.
That is a 6 for me, which is underneath my luck.
Excellent.
Although it's not anymore because I reduced my luck to.
He doesn't wake up. Turn to 147. That's good. You leave the room and Griffin, hi.
Oh, thank you very much for the subscription and a whole year's worth. That's much appreciated.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Griffin. Okay, we leave the room and open the box in the passage. We find a single piece of gold and a small mouse, which must have been the creature's pet. You keep the coin and release the mouse, which scurries off down the passageway. I feel bad about this guy's pet going missing now.
They're going to wake up and they're going to be like, where's my pet gone? And my gold. Maybe they think that the pet has stolen the gold. And we'll get away with it.
And taken the box out into the corridor and...
Yeah.
This is a very talented mouse. Okay, so we get a piece of gold. That's good news. And we get 2 luck points. I can't actually use 2 luck points, but one of them is very beneficial.
Yeah, will certainly take one. And we do need a piece of gold for somebody on a ferry, apparently.
We do, to pay a ferryman, yes. So that's 2 luck points and turn to 208. Further up the passage along the west wall, you see another door. You listen at it, but hear nothing. If you want to try opening the door, or if that's an option, or you want to continue northwards. Door, right?
Yeah, definitely a door.
Definitely a door.
Open door.
It's a man-made door or whatever, not a natural door. So
yeah.
It's definitely a door that we need to open. Yep, it's 397 we turn to open the door.
Wonderful.
Okay. The door opens to reveal a small room with a stone floor and dirty walls. There is a stale smell in the air. In the centre of the room is a makeshift wooden table on which is standing a lit candle. Under the table is a small box. In the far corner of the room is a straw mattress. You may either open the box or leave the room.
I think the box worked out really well for us last time.
It did, which means this one probably won't, but equally, we're desperately in need of keys. We might need more gold. There might be a
That's
lot
true.
of potions and all sorts of other things. So I just don't feel we can leave boxes unopened.
No.
So we will open the box, turning to 240. You see how calm I am right now about the fact that we're moving from paragraph to paragraph freely without it costing us anything.
It's quite nice after our last
It's quite a relief, isn't it?
to Firetop Mountain. No curses, slowly draining our health.
The box is light, but something rattles within. You open the lid and a small snake darts out to bite at your wrist. You must fight the snake. I think this is what you might call a starter encounter. The snake is skill 5, stamina 2.
Ooh.
So, we both get to have a roll.
It's very true, John. We've liberated another pet.
We may be we're almost certainly about to liberate it from existence, truthfully. Because skill 5, stamina 2 is very weak in this game system.
Yes.
Okay, so we have to roll for our attacks. I've only rolled a 6, but that is enough to take me up to 15.
Very good. 2 dice plus skill, as per usual. Mine is a 9, so that's a 20.
And impossibly appropriately, the snake has rolled snake eyes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So,
what else?
It finishes with a total of 7, takes a hit from each of us, which knocks off 4 of its 2 stamina. The snake is no more. Sorry, snake.
It's probably for the best.
Because it was in a box, I'm not even convinced it got a last meal of mouse before it died.
Well, no, I was going to say it's probably for the best, because otherwise it would have just run off and eaten the pet mouse.
Yeah. Okay, so if you kill the snake, turn to 145. I mean, there must theoretically be somebody who's died to that snake, but it's a very weak enemy to start with.
Oh, can you imagine how bad your rolls would have had to have been for you to get to this
that
point?
would have been a very weak performance.
Purely luck, but yes.
The box has fallen to the ground during your fight with the snake, and out of it has fallen a bronze-coloured key with the number 99 carved into it. Okay. That's excellent.
Ooh, key with 99.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's very handy. And not only that, we can top up a luck point as well. If you need one.
I do not.
No, nor can I. We've been given lots of luck so far in this game. So, right. So we add 1 luck point and turn to 363. Uh, 363. Further up the passage on the west wall, you see another similar door. You listen at the door and grimace to hear the worst singing you've ever heard in your life. Do you want to go into this room, to investigate the hideous din, or walk on up the passageway. Well, I mean, door, right?
Yep.
Door.
Door.
So we will try the door. That is 370. The door opens to reveal a small room. The room is dirty and unkempt. A straw mattress lies in one corner. In the centre of the room is a wooden table upon which a candle burns, lighting the room with its flickering flame. A small box rests under the table. Seated around the table are two small creatures with warty skin, dressed in leather armour. They are drinking some sort of grog, and by the way they stagger to their feet on your arrival, you assume they are very drunk. You may either draw your sword and leap forward at them, or slam the door quickly and run on up the passage. The problem with this choice for me is that there is a box under the table.
Yeah, and boxes have been very kind to us so far.
Every box, it turns out, is a winner.
Boxes and doors.
Boxes and doors. It seems that this is the key to getting through everything. Boxes and doors.
Also, I'm feeling quite confident after that snake encounter.
Same here. It's like we're indestructible. That's fantastic. Okay, we will leap forward at them and turn to 116. The two drunken orcs you now face are obviously startled at your entrance, and, as quickly as they are able, they fumble around for their weapons. You must attack each one in turn. Their drunkenness allows you to add a point to your dice roll when rolling to work out your attack strength.
Ooh.
During each attack round. Okay, so we get a +1. And... okay, I guess we take an orc each. Would you like the first orc or the second orc?
I'll take the second orc, please.
Okay. The second
If you don't
orc
mind.
is not an entirely mighty opponent, though marginally mightier than the snake. Skill 5, stamina 5. Okay. So, we get to add +1 to our attack strength when we roll. Okay, so my skill is 9, and I rolled a 9. That's 18 plus 1 is 19.
Very good. It's probably needed. My dice rolled a 3 plus 11 plus 1 for a 15.
Okay. I don't need to roll mine because his skill is 5, which means he'd need to roll a 14 to tie.
Ooh. Whereas I do. And mine rolled a 4 for a 9. So
Okay.
it takes 2 damage.
Yes, 2 damage per hit. So mine only had 4 to start with in stamina. So he's down to 2 now. Okie dokie. Next attack. I've rolled an 8. Plus 9 is 17, plus 1 is 18.
Ooh. Very good. That's better than mine is a 9 for a total of 21.
And tragically for my orc, he can't do it no matter what he does. Sadly, he would need to roll a 13 just to tie.
Yes, the same for mine.
So mine now lies dead, having lost all 4 of his stamina.
Mine is on 1. There's 1 health left. I could have tested luck, but my luck isn't very good. It feels like a bit of a waste. Is that a thing in this one?
Yes, you can
I
do that.
when that was
You absolutely
introduced.
can.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, I wouldn't waste it on enemies this week, to be honest.
That's also a very good point. Yes, indeed. Right. Last one?
Last one, probably.
Oh, well, yeah. That's an 8 on my dice for 20 total.
Okay. Yep.
Which means I'm okay.
Yep. The orc is done. So if you win the battle, turn to 378. You wipe your bloodied sword on the mattress. The green blood leaves a slimy stain on the straw.
Yeah.
Stepping over the bodies towards the table, you flinch at the foul stench of the creatures. You pick up the box from under the table and examine it. It is a small wooden box with crude hinges. The name Farigo di Maggio is inscribed on a brass nameplate on its lid, and we can open it or leave it behind. Do I need to ask?
Well, funnily enough, I think that name rings a bell from last time, but I can't remember whether it was a good thing or a bad thing.
Nor can I.
But I don't think you do need to. Let's just open it.
We've got to open it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We will open the box and turn to 296.
As you say, we're even more invincible after the defeat of those two creatures.
Oh, definitely.
Certainly feeling it.
Okie dokie. The box contains a small leather-bound book entitled The Making and Casting of Dragonfire. You open the pages and begin to read. Fortunately, it's written in your own language and so was probably not understood by the orcs, otherwise this treasure would certainly not be as loosely guarded as it was. The book is written in tiny handwriting by Farigo di Maggio. In it he tells the story of his life's work, the creation of the Dragonfire spell with which to fight evil dragons. You read how, in his last years, Farigo finally perfected his spell, but by then was too old to make use of it. So he completed his book, locked it in a chest, and hid it in the depths of Firetop Mountain, afraid that it might fall into the wrong hands. The last page reads, "And so, you who now hold this book, you have my life's work in your hands. The power of destruction is yours if you wish it, but do not waste it. Unless you use the spell for the purpose for which it was intended, you shall be consumed by evil itself and die by the fire from your own hands. Remember, only when the dragon breathes its fire at you should you raise your arms and say, Ekil Erif, Ekam Erif, Erif Erif di Maggio." You say these words slowly and softly. I'm pretty sure the book said don't do that, right?
No, yeah, don't say them. No, we don't.
Suddenly the pages seem to glow, and as this glow disappears, so do the words on the pages of the book. You repeat the spell to yourself to memorise it and leave the room. Turn to 42. Okay, I'm going to write down the spell, just in case it doesn't prompt us at the end, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, in case we need to remember the words.
In fact, instead of writing it down, I'll write down the paragraph number.
Good idea.
Dragonfire spell 296. Good. Okay. We leave the room, turn to 42. Okay. You eventually arrive at the end of the passage at a three-way junction. You may turn either to the west or to the east. Shall I roll a die again? Because we don't have any other clue, do we? Unless you remember which way we went last time.
I do not remember which way we went last time, though. It's too early to say, isn't it? But I do like we've zigzagged before, haven't we? In an attempt to cover as much ground as possible.
And I don't remember if we started doing that after this one. We might have done.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's possible we had a bad experience because we stayed west in this one and then missed something, perhaps.
I think we made it to the end last time, but we definitely didn't have the keys that we needed.
So we missed a thing on the way, yeah.
Potentially.
So if you'd rather just say let's go east and see if that works out for us rather than roll, I would completely go along with that.
Do you mind? It's my gut.
Don't mind at all.
My gut is telling me it's
okay.
a good.
We will go east and turn to 113.
Because it was quite early on, and you're right. I can't remember where we picked up all of our bits and pieces, much like the doors. When we started to just go through doors.
Yeah. So you arrive at another junction in the passage. This is when we're going eastwards. You arrive at another junction in the passage. You can either go north or continue east.
Ooh. Well.
I'm vaguely tempted to say we keep going east in the hope that when we go up another bit, we can turn west again and cut and come across the top of it. If we're zigzagging.
Yeah. That makes sense. And then all we potentially miss out is anything in that tiny little a potential corridor that would join them up rather than a whole wing of.
Though it is worth pointing out that tiny little corridor may contain all of the things we need.
Yeah, it's true. I suppose that this, without any other knowledge, it's statistically less likely.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's continue going east and see what happens. So we keep going east at the next junction, and that's to number 78.
Very good.
The passage ends at a solid wooden door with metal hinges. Listening at the door, you hear strange mutterings and the clatter of what could be pots and pans. Whatever is in there, there are several of them. Do we go through the door or turn back? I mean, it's a door.
It is a door. It is a door. With at least several pots and pans the other side.
Yeah.
Whether there's anything else.
I suppose I think we sort of have to go through the door just to see what's there, if nothing else.
Yeah. I think so. I'm not 100%, but then I'm never 100% about anything because one wrong decision to sit on a chair and you could end up dead.
Absolutely.
As we learned last night.
And I mean, this one we made it through last time, but didn't have everything we needed. So you can easily, in this maze, miss the key thing you need.
Yeah, that is true.
I guess we're going to have to go through the door because it's a door. So
it's a door.
Do you want to go through the door, turn to 159? You open the door into a large room which can only be the dining room of the same warty-faced creatures you now recognise. Sitting round a large table are 5 orcs, busily drinking and dribbling their bowls of rat-gizzard soup. All are involved in a rowdy argument as to who will get to chew the rat bones left in the large soup cauldron, so they don't see you enter. You may be bold and prepare to attack, or you may not relish the prospect of taking on 5 of these creatures and try to escape. If you wish to leave the room, test your luck, and if you're lucky, you get out without them noticing. There's no penalty for escaping if you do this. If you're unlucky, they notice you, prepare for battle, and turn to 365. There is nothing in this that implies there's anything we want in this room, is there?
Orcs, soup, bones.
I mean, not even orc fleas.
No boxes. No, well, yeah, no, apparently no orc
which
fleas.
Would be really handy.
Which I'm guessing is a nice little throwback to the...
Yeah. I'm guessing it is. I mean, we can have a fight. I mean, if they're anything like the previous ones, we've probably got them on toast, despite their number. But I can't shake the feeling that there's no description of a little box or anything here to get.
Yeah.
So what do you fancy?
Happy. I don't know. I'm happy either way, I think. There wasn't even any description of... was there a description of another exit?
No, not that it said.
Although that doesn't necessarily mean there isn't one.
With 5 of them, I mean, I'm tempted to say, remember that though our stats are low, there are 2 of us. We can take on 2 at a time.
That is true.
So somebody playing on their own, if they have a really bad couple of rolls and take hits from all 5, that could be bad. I mean, okay, they're not strong creatures. You'd have to have a really bad stat and a bad roll, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to say, try and creep away.
I'm with you. That was
okay.
I was leaning that way. So let's do the heroes thing.
One of us gets to test our luck and then heroically creep away without bothering the orcs.
Touchwood.
It's my turn. It's a number 2 on the check. So my turn to do the thing. And I've rolled a 9, which is in fact exactly my luck. So, accordingly, I cost myself a luck point.
Well done. That is a good roll, I think.
Okay, and we creep out and turn to 237. Okay. You move swiftly down the passage and arrive back at the junction, turn northwards this time, and turn to 285.
Okay.
So interestingly, it doesn't give you the choice to choose west instead.
That is what I was thinking.
Okie dokie. You see a well-used door on the right-hand east side of the passageway. With your ear to the keyhole, you listen and hear a man screaming for help from inside. Will you open the door or walk on? I mean, it's a door.
I do remember this, but and I think we went in.
Was it a terrible, terrible mistake?
But I can't remember.
No, nor can I. Okay, we will open the door, turn to 213, and see what happens.
Yeah, it's a door.
A door is, as you say, a door. We don't have any choice in this matter. 213. The door is locked. You can try to charge it down by rolling 2 dice. If the number rolled is equal to or less than your skill score, the door bursts open, turn to 36. If it's greater than your skill score, you lose a stamina point for the bruise and you must progress up the passage. Okay, one of us is going to have to check skill and hope there isn't another pit behind the door.
Oh yeah, this didn't end well last time. Luckily it wasn't a deep one.
No, but this one could be bottomless. With,
Yeah. with somebody falling down it and screaming.
Yes. It's a 4. So it's my turn to check skill. Okay, that's equal or less than 9. It's less, I'm afraid. That's an 11.
Oh.
So we take a stamina point hit.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid we have to march onwards. Sorry about that.
Well, that's all right. Apologise to the person screaming behind the door, not me.
Yeah, we turn to 314. Yeah, just cost us a stamina point and 314. No idea if that's, lucky or unlucky in reality.
Mm.
Further up the passage, you see a door on the east wall again. You listen hard, but can hear no sound. Do you want to open the door to investigate? Yes. Yes, we do.
It's a door.
It is who we are. We're going to open the door to investigate, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, we will turn to 223. The door is firmly locked. You may try to force it open or continue along the corridor. Is it worth trying to force it again?
Yeah. I'd say so.
Then we turn to 53 to see how that works. I'm guessing it's probably going to be vaguely similar. You charge the door, hitting it squarely with your shoulder. Roll 2 dice, equal or less, yada yada yada. And it costs a stamina point if you fail. Okay. All right, let's find out whose turn it is to check skill. That's a 4. That's me again. God.
No 11s this time.
This time a 9, which is my skill. So this time it opens. Turn to 155.
155.
The door splits along its length and you can wrench the timbers apart to let yourself in. A torch hangs from one wall, lighting up a small armoury room stocked with swords, shields, helmets, daggers, breastplates and the like. You examine the weaponry and find nothing appearing superior to your own sword. However, a circular iron shield with a golden crescent at its centre catches your eye. You pick it up and feel its weight on your arm. If you wish to take this shield, it will aid you in battles by helping to fend off wound damage inflicted by a creature on you. If, in future, during a battle in which you're using the shield, a creature wounds you, you may throw 1 die. If you throw a 6, the creature inflicts only 1 point of damage. If for some reason the creature would normally only inflict 1 point, then a successful roll of 6 would mean that no damage is done. However, the shield is heavy, and you'll have to leave behind 1 item of equipment to be able to carry it. Okay, so what have we got? So in essence, effectively, if a creature wounds you, you get to throw a 6 and it only does 1 point of damage. I mean, that sounds great, but if you think about it, how often do you get hit and then you've got to roll a 6 and even then you still take some damage? I'm not prepared to give up either of my potions of fortune for that shield, but if you fancy it, by all means take it.
No, I suppose what else? We could leave a lantern. Or it's almost a shame that we didn't have a shield to begin with.
Yeah.
We just swap it out.
Yeah, because if we'd had a shield, it would have been worth having because it's a slightly better one.
Yeah, and then you just leave the shield as your item.
Yeah.
However, sword feels like a bad choice, as does armor, and without a rucksack, you're not going to be able to carry anything anyway.
Indeed.
Yeah. I assume. Yeah, and then your potion, which is not a good choice, I don't think, because that has 2 uses.
Yes.
And takes you back to max, and you get an extra luck.
Yeah. Can I point out, by the way, that in our playthrough of the return to Firetop Mountain, didn't we go to a line of 3 doors, one of which contained a torture chamber and one of which contained an old armory?
Yes, there were 3 doors, definitely, which very much feels like.
And the old armory tricked us out of our sword, and the torture chamber was a trap laid by a goblin.
Yes.
And we've just heard some screaming from behind a door, which might be someone in a torture chamber.
And now we're in an armory. Do you remember what the 3rd door was?
No. Well, yes, I do. It was the cell with the crevice in it where we found hidden stuff.
Yes. But yes, I don't think I'm going to leave anything for the shield.
You must now leave the room and continue up the corridor, turn to 300. On the east wall of the passage, you see another door, this time made of solid metal. Listening at the door, you hear the sound of tortured screams coming from within. If you wish to try opening the door, turn to 102. If you decide to ignore the room and continue, turn to 303. I have a vague feeling this one will be the torture chamber then, won't it?
I know it's a door.
And it's a door. So
but must we go in the torture chamber?
Well, I'm curious to find out if there's a guy on the rack who's alive but wearing a golden ring.
Ooh, yes.
Because when we took the golden ring off the skeleton on the rack, it gave us a warm, fuzzy feeling. And it had a number on it.
It did have a number on that. Okay, then. You've sold me.
Okay, we will try opening the door. And it's a door. I mean, it is a door.
Yeah.
We will try opening the door. Turn to 102. The door is not locked and opens. The room in front of you seems to be a small torture chamber, with various torture devices around the walls. In the centre of the room, 2 small hunchbacked creatures are having their fiendish way with a dwarf, who's tied to a hook in the ceiling by his wrists. The 2 hunchbacks are poking and cutting him viciously with their swords. The dwarf lets out a final scream and falls silent, eyes closed. His captors make disappointed noises and look around angrily at you as if it were your fault that the dwarf has collapsed. Will you close the door quickly and continue up the corridor? Draw your sword and fight the creatures? Or stride over to the dwarf, give him a jab with your sword and put on an evil laugh for the torturers?
Well.
I mean, he's already dead.
Yeah. I'm sure he won't mind.
Actually, to be fair, it didn't say he died. It said he collapsed. A final scream and falls silent, eyes closed, and then the dwarf has collapsed. If he was dead, I'd think this is one of those third options that you have to take, because they only ever offer them when there's something good.
Yeah.
But I'm not wild about stabbing a collapsed dwarf, even if he's, silent.
I think it implies that he's dead, but I'm not necessarily. It's not. It's not 100%, is it?
If you want to stab the dwarf, I'm with you, because I from a game point of view, I agree that when they offer you something like this, which is more role playing, it's usually the right thing to do, isn't it? Because basically closing the door and running away or having a fight are pretty straightforward. They're what you could do pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
So shall we
Although that being said, 2 of them probably isn't going to be too much of an issue, touch wood.
I mean, that my temptation would be either try and fight them because there might be something afterwards, or give the dwarf a quick stab. So which do you fancy?
Let's do it. Let's give the dwarf a stab.
Give the dwarf a stab. We'll stride over to the dwarf, give him a jab, and see what happens. Okay, we turn to 68. The 2 goblin torturers look at each other amazed, then look at you. They chatter to themselves and then indicate for you to wait while they go off and get another dwarf to give them some more fun. They disappear out of the room and you cut down the dwarf, who is, as you guessed, quite dead. You decide it best to leave and press on northwards up the corridor, turn to 303. Okay, so there wasn't actually anything much to get from it, but such is life.
I suppose we couldn't really, could we? Because otherwise it wouldn't be there for us next time on our return to Firetop Mountain.
Okie dokie. You arrive at the end of the passage where it meets another going east-west. But an iron portcullis blocks your way, and no amount of charging is going to budge it. On the wall to your right are 2 levers, and it seems likely these levers have something to do with raising the portcullis. Do you want to pull the right lever or the left lever?
Wow. Dice?
I mean, I feel we kind of must have encountered this portcullis before. It rings a bell somehow.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what we did. However, I obviously we did get past this point, so I genuinely have no idea what to go, left or right. Do we just roll a die for this? Because I don't think we've got any.
I think so.
We haven't encountered anything that said, when you get to this point, pull the right lever. So let's just give it a go.
Or the wrong one.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3 is right.
Cool.
And it's a 4, so we'll pull the left lever, okay?
Yep.
That's 2, 4, 3. 2, 4, 3. To your horror, you realise that this dummy lever was a trap. Although it looked like a handle, it was in fact a wax-coated sword blade, and it's now cut your hand badly. Did you lose your right or your left hand? Use your right or left hand. Roll 1 die. If the number you roll is odd, this was your sword hand and your fighting prowess has been severely hampered. Lose 3 skill points and 1 stamina.
Ooh.
If you rolled an even number, use your other hand, and the injury costs you 1 skill point and 2 stamina. Okay.
Wow.
All right. So we're each going to have to do this, I guess, separately, aren't we?
Yeah.
So we want an even number if possible. And I have rolled a 6.
Mine will be a 3.
Oh, okay. So you lose 3 skill and 1 stamina.
1 stamina.
And I lose
Harsh.
1 skill and 2 stamina.
So I'm currently on 8 skill, which is not good.
So I lose 1 skill. That gets me down to 8. And 2 stamina, which gets me down to 12. Okay. Right. If you now wish to pull the right lever, turn to 128. And if you don't wish to pull the right lever, you won't be getting much further. So there you go. 128 it is. 128, we will pull the other lever. That was a nasty little surprise. I don't remember that happening to us before.
No. So either we found something out somewhere, although we've been in most rooms, haven't we? Or we rolled a dice and it went the other way.
Yeah, absolutely. You hear a deep rumbling noise and the ground begins to shudder. Slowly and noisily, the portcullis rises into the ceiling. You may now walk to the junction. Will you turn west or east? Am I right in saying that, I mean, the way my brain is assessing it, we're now sort of in the middle, but maybe a bit right of middle?
Yeah, well, I kind of lined us up in the middle, but there's no distances, so
No, we don't know.
We are approximately in the middle.
Yeah.
Assuming everything snaps to a grid.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just tempted to say maybe since we kind of went east last time, maybe it's time to go west.
And go west this time.
But I don't feel particularly strongly about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have no particular weighting either way. So if you want to do that, that works for me.
Unless this is actually how we get around the blocked off end of the east. I don't know what to do. I do not know what to do.
The problem is that the dice didn't do us many favours last time.
They did not.
So,
but maybe they've learnt their lesson now.
Well, yeah, that's true. Maybe they owe us one after the lever fiasco.
Yeah. Maybe they feel decently ashamed and will now give us good advice. Possibly.
Let's give it a go.
Okay, let's try the dice and see what happens. 1, 2, 3 will be what do they give? West. 1, 2, 3 is west, and it's a 4. So we go east. Turn to 58.
Oh, come on, dice.
Cautiously, you creep along the passageway. After a short time, it turns sharply to the north. At the corner, there's a bench of solid wood, and above the bench a sign reads, Rest ye here, weary traveller. Here you may stop and eat provisions if you wish, or continue. I, sadly, do not have any provisions.
No, neither do I.
So the option to stop and eat provisions, it doesn't say there are any here waiting, you understand? So stopping and eating provisions is not a thing, clearly. So I'm afraid we have to continue, don't we?
Yes.
Which is a shame, but there you go. 3, 6, 7 it is. Also, that could easily be a trap, given that it said in the rules you can eat provisions if you have them anytime you like. So why would you need a special provisions chair?
Yeah, that does feel weird.
Or is it potions you can take whenever you like? I don't know. Anyway, 367. You arrive at another junction in the passageway. Turn west or east? West or east? Again, I mean, I think we have to roll dice, don't we? Because I have no idea what information we can possibly use.
Yeah, I think that seems reasonable.
Okay, let's try it. West or east? It's a 1, so west. That's turn to 235.
West 235.
Okie dokie. Yeah. Okay. You follow the passage westwards. Then it turns sharply to the north, and some meters further on, a passage runs off to the west. So do we turn west or keep going north? Well, here is where my logic says we want to keep exploring the sides as much as we can as we head up.
Yes. I agree.
So west rather than north at this stage, if you're okay with that.
Yeah. Works for me. Definitely.
Okay. So if we'd like to go along the westward passage, we turn to 176. 176. 176 is that way. Yep, 176. Okay. As you walk up the passage, it visibly widens, and eventually you find yourself standing at the mouth of a rough cavern, a natural cave in the rock. As you look into the darkness, the cavern appears to be about 30 meters deep with no visible exit. Do we go into the cavern or go back to the junction? If there's a big cavern, 30 meters across. I mean, it sounds like somewhere you might find things like dragons, right?
Yes, possibly.
And we do have a dragon killing book.
That is also true.
Or it could just be a trap, of course.
Well, there is that. It could be full of keys. It could just be a cavern where people throw their unwanted keys.
It could be the key cavern, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm tempted to say we should at least take a look.
Yeah. I don't think anything bad can... Well, I mean, something bad can definitely come of it, but...
Nothing bad can happen in exploring a pitch-dark giant cave in the middle of an evil dungeon ruled by a mad wizard. Of course, nothing bad can happen. Okay, what we will do then is we will go into the cavern, turn to 270. And this could well be where we die, of course, but we'll try it anyway. You enter the cavern and look around to see dozens of beautifully coloured stalactites and stalagmites bordering the perimeter. Numerous drips can be heard, but the whole place seems like a magic grotto. Near the back of the cavern you come across a pair of boots, which seem to have been made quite recently. So, do we continue investigating, try on the boots, or leave the cavern? Now, I have no idea if the boots are a good thing or a bad thing, but when it says continue investigating, that feels like it's saying you definitely want to keep looking around.
Yes. I suppose the question is, once we've tried on the boots, can we then continue investigating?
Yeah. I mean, it may offer us the way to do it in any order we like, but I'm tempted to say if we want to do both, if we want to do boots and investigate, it's probably wise to do boots first and then see if it lets us continue investigating.
Yeah. Of course, we could just leave.
Or we could leave.
With the knowledge that there are some boots in a very beautiful magical cavern.
I mean, it has given us a literal, are you sure you want to do this? You can leave the cavern and
but
turn
we're
around.
Always sure, Ben. We're always sure. Let's try on the boots.
Try on the boots.
Yeah.
We try on the boots, turn to 394. The boots are well fashioned in a deep red leather. They are much sturdier than your own and fit you well. You try a few steps but are horrified to find that you can't move, and the boots seem to be gripping your feet with considerable force. As you struggle to free yourself, you hear a crack and a smash as a stalactite falls from the roof. You crane around to see a large black shape shifting towards you. As it approaches, you turn cold. Several metres away is a giant spider, at least a metre across, advancing towards you on spiny legs, mandibles clicking nervously in anticipation of its next meal. You draw the sword to defend yourself as it stalks you. You cannot move and thus must subtract 2 from each dice roll you make when calculating your attack strength.
Wow.
Okay.
Sorry, Ben. Seems like that was a bad choice.
Boots, clearly not the way to go. All right.
No.
Okay. So, the good news is there's 2 of us. The bad news is because of that, we've got less stamina and everything. The giant spider has a skill of 7 and a stamina of 8. My adjusted skill with the -2 is 6.
As is mine. Yes, indeed.
Okay. Let's give it a shot. I've rolled a 9 to start with.
Mine's a 7. So 13 total.
And the spider has rolled a 12, which means it's going to hit one of us.
Yeah.
That's a 1, I'm afraid, so it's you it takes this time.
Okey-dokey.
-2 to your stamina. Next round.
Oh, no.
I've rolled a 6.
Mine's a 10 total.
The spider's rolled a 7. Once again, it beats both of us. And it's a 3. It hits you again, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Don't worry.
I'm a little bit worried.
Well, that takes me down to 12.
I'm now on... just rolled a 3, and I'm now on 12 stamina. Yep. I've just rolled a 3 for me.
Mine is a 6, so that's a 12 total.
Okay, now here's good news. The spider's rolled a 2. So, what did you roll, sorry?
12.
Oh, excellent. Okay. So it's tied me and lost to you. So it's definitely taken 2 stamina. And it went for me. So it's only taken 2.
Cool.
So it's down to 6 now. Okie dokie.
Let's change those dice up. They're not doing very well.
Okay, I've rolled a 9 this time. That's a bit better.
Mine is a 3, which gives me a 9 total.
Okay, the spider has rolled a 3, giving it a 10. And it went for you, so it knocks 2 off your stamina, but I knock 2 off its stamina.
Yeah.
So it's now down to 4 stamina left. And I've rolled a 10 for a total of 18.
Mine is an 8 for a total of 14.
And the spider has rolled a 9 for a total of 16. Okay. That means it's done better than you, hasn't it?
Mm.
Okay.
It has indeed.
And it went for you, so it's lost 2 of its own, but you've lost 2 again.
Yeah.
It's really focusing on you. Sorry about that.
It certainly is. That's okay. I chose odds.
And that's an 8 I've rolled.
Mine is an 11 for a 17 total.
And the spider's rolled a 7, which means I'm tied with it. And you've beaten it. So it's definitely dead. The only question is... Oh, no, it's tied. The most it does is nothing with me. So it is down.
Whew.
Okay. If you win the battle, turn to 232.
Win is a very subjective term, I feel, for how that went.
I agree. Yeah. Almost exhausted after your awkward fight with the spider, you set to work on hacking the boots off with your sword. Eventually they come free and you may leave the cavern down the passageway and back to the junction. Turn to 375.
Oh. Oh. Maybe the investigating further was the finding the spider.
Probably, I would guess. Yeah, it was probably the difference between having your -2 to your stats or not, I would guess.
Yeah. I'm going to use this opportunity to take a potion of strength, if I may, Ben.
You definitely may.
Am I? Should I? Yes, I should.
That will restore your stamina to its starting position.
Yeah. So I'll go from 8 back up to 19.
Okay.
It was a solid use.
Brilliant. And then it says you arrive back at the junction and this time turn northwards, turn to 5. A rough timber doorway is on the east wall of the passage. You listen at the door and can hear a jolly sort of humming sound. Do you want to knock on the door and go in, or continue northwards? Jolly sort of humming sound. Like plague of locusts, or...
Flight of the bumblebees?
I mean, I'm just saying it's a door, though, right?
Yeah, it's a door. It certainly is a door.
I think we have to knock on the door and go in. Apparently, we don't get the choice to just open it. So I guess we'll knock on the door and go in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn to 97. A voice bids you come in, and you walk into a small room furnished with a table and chair. Shelves, cupboards, and the like, all of which have seen better days. Plates, bowls, cups, and hundreds of old books line the shelves. In the midst of all this clutter, you see a little old man in a grubby white gown swaying to and fro in a rocking chair, still humming happily to himself, his eyes fixed on you, but seemingly at peace with the world. He bids you good day. We can start a conversation with him, draw our sword and attack him, or decide not to waste any time with him and leave. Well, we've come all this way. We should at the very least stab him in the throat. But maybe the right way to go is conversation. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think that certainly feels more like us. Although that being said, we did stab a dwarf.
Okay.
But yes, I agree.
Conversation. We'll give it a shot. Conversation. I mean, it may turn out to be a terrible choice, like putting on boots. But we will start to make a conversation with him. 334. As you speak, the old man rises to his feet. Oh my, a stranger, he starts. Well, do come in, the shop is open. What can I get you? What would you like to buy? What takes your fancy? Which way are you headed? North? Well, you tell the old man your story. He listens intently and replies, oh yes, in that case you will undoubtedly need one of my blue candles. That'll be 20 gold pieces, please. Cash, if you don't mind. Yes, I know it's expensive, but isn't everything these days? Not so long ago these were only 5 gold pieces each, but you know what's happened to the price of candle wax since the long dark night. Oh, but you probably don't, since you don't come from these parts. Never mind, I can guarantee it's still worth the price. You might need it sooner than you think. If you decide to buy a candle, pay for it and add it to your equipment list. You're getting a little tired of his constant prattling. Leave the room and go northwards. We do not have 20 gold pieces.
No, we certainly don't.
We have,
maybe
in fact,
we should have just attacked
one.
him and taken the candle.
And there is apparently no option to say, bored with this conversation, stab him in the throat and take the blue candle.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid we just have to leave the room and go north. Turn to 292. Northwards, the passageway ends at a solid wooden door. You listen at the door but can hear nothing. There appears to be no choice but to open the door and enter the room, which you do. It's a large, square room. You flash your lantern around the room and catch a quick glimpse of its emptiness, though there are murals on the walls. Before your lantern suddenly goes out. You try to relight it, but it will not catch. In the blackness you hear a succession of frightful noises. Howls, screams, cries and wails are getting louder and louder until they reach the pitch where you must cover your ears. Do you have a blue candle? If so, turn to 239. If not, turn to 40. We do not have a blue candle. This could be very, very, very bad. I do not remember the blue candle problem.
No.
The ear-piercing sound gets louder and louder. The pain is unbearable. Reduce your skill score by 1 for the agony. Oh, God. Cost me skill. I'm running out of skill. Okay. You begin to grope in the dark for a wall. So we can head for the west, north, or east wall, basically. It gives us them in the order west, north, east. I mean, my temptation is to say north. Let's get beyond this little bit. if we can. But there may be no exit there, and that may be a problem.
Yeah. No, I agree. Let's try to head for the other side of the room.
Have a go at north, see what happens.
Yeah.
That's 265. You grope around the length of the wall and find a door. Quickly you fumble with the handle. It opens. Turn to 88.
Ooh.
You enter another small room, bare except for a fountain in the middle. Not a particularly grand affair, the fountain is a small carved fish, and a short jet of water comes from its mouth. A wooden sign hangs from the fish, and this bears a message. It is written in goblin tongue, of which you're not very proficient. The first word you cannot understand, but the others read, "Not drink." But you're extremely thirsty. Will you drink from the fountain, or pass it by? Okay.
It's obviously pushing us in a certain direction.
It is. And you see, that
However,
makes me think
something really good could be coming out of this fish's mouth.
it could, couldn't it? Because maybe the first word is like goblin not drink.
Yeah. Don't not drink.
Don't not drink.
Probably pushing it, but
Goblins could have very strange linguistic structures.
Indeed. Or it could be do not drink, but it might just be bad for goblins. Goblins might just not like fresh, clean water. They
or
might
it
prefer...
might be a lie. Just do not drink, but the goblins know you're supposed to.
Too many options.
I mean, I so much want to drink from the fountain.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I don't want to miss out on whatever good thing is going through my head, but I'm not thinking about the horrific death that could also come. Should we do it?
I mean, I feel we sort of owe it to ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's going to reduce. It's going to restore our skill because we've lost so much skill recently. That if nothing else, it should.
Yeah. Okay, we'll try drinking. If so, turn to 216. The water is refreshing. As you drink more, you feel a glow spreading through your body as if you were drinking at the fountain of life. Add 4 stamina points. Okie dokie. I can actually take 4. 4 is the most I can take. That puts me back up to top.
Oh.
And restore your skill and luck scores to their initial levels.
Oh.
Fantastic.
That is good.
That puts both of them on 9 for me. The fountain of life for you must be the fountain of death for the evil goblins. You may eat provisions here. Not a lot of point if you're topped up health.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. When you've rested, leave through the north door. Turn to 384.
Oh.
That's absolutely magnificent.
That is a good call.
Okay. Okie dokie. 384. The door opens into a passage, which you follow northwards. Shortly you reach a bend and follow it round to the east. Several metres on, you reach a junction in which you can either go north or continue east. Okay, well, logic says to me, east is the way to go. Because our overall direction is north.
Yep.
So let's explore a bit off to the side.
And cover as much as we, yeah. That does make perfect sense.
If you're happy with that, let's do it. So we will continue eastwards, turn to 307. The passage twists and turns and eventually ends in a solid iron door. You listen, but hear nothing. You can try and open the door, or you can go back to the junction. Well, I mean, it's a door.
It is indeed a door. There's been a few of these, and I feel as though we should at least give it a go.
Let's give it a shot. We'll try to open the door. Turn to 134. Yeah. The room is unoccupied, and there seems to be no other means of exit. In the centre of the floor stands a table, and on this table are two helmets, one of bronze and one of iron. Both are about your size. Will you try one on, or is it worth the risk? So we can try on the bronze helmet, or try on the iron helmet, or go back to the junction. I'm actually feeling a bit bolder now that stats are back up.
Yeah, well, yes, that is true. Less to worry about for the time being.
Bronze helmet or iron helmet? Preferences? Sort of leaning towards the bronze one, but I don't really know why.
Yeah, well, I kind of have no preference, to be honest, because I have no frame of reference.
Same here.
We have no information, do we?
No, we don't.
Let's go with bronze if that's what you wish.
You know what? I'm really tempted to roll a die and literally make it a three-way choice.
Oh.
So 1 and 2 try on the bronze helmet, 3 and 4 try on the iron helmet, and 5 and 6 leave and go back to the junction.
Leave. Oh, could you imagine? Okay.
We'll leave it up to fate, okay?
Yeah.
It's a 5. So we return to the junction and we will never learn what those helmets do.
Wow.
On the other hand, you know, we are at full stats, so if they offered a benefit like restore your luck to its normal, that's, you know, no use to us.
Yeah, that's very true.
So
very true.
Maybe we lucked out, maybe we missed something. Anyway, we return to the junction and turn to 87. You arrive back at the junction and this time turn northwards. Turn to 262. Some way up the passage you reach another junction and you can go east or west. I again have no real understanding of exactly which way makes sense.
Yeah, we're kind of well, You can't really tell because I've done too many lines by this point. So I think all of the scale of it all is completely gone. It feels like we're kind of still in the middle.
Middle-ish, yeah.
Slightly off to the east, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, do you have a preference, or shall we roll a die?
Roll a dice.
Okay.
I think
It says eastwards first, so eastwards is 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And it's a 3, so apparently we go eastwards. That's turned to 199. The passage ahead widens, and you can see ahead a large cavern. As you shine your lantern around it, you can see crude stone weapons on the floor and a smouldering fire in the centre of the cave, but you see no way through. As you turn to make your way back, you stop in your tracks to see 2 Neanderthal cavemen barring your exit. They grunt aggressively at you. You draw your sword and must prepare to fight. Well, the good news is, stats are back up.
Yes, that is very true.
Would you care for the first or the second caveman?
I will take the first, please, Ben.
Okay. The first one has a skill of 7 and a stamina of 6.
Good stuff.
Okay. Right. My caveman has a skill of 6. So, let's go for it. I've rolled an 11, so he doesn't need to roll. He's definitely taken a hit.
Ooh, mine is a 10, which is the same.
Excellent. That's good. Seconds away, round 2. And this time I've rolled a 3.
Mine is a 7, which will take me to an 18.
And he's rolled a 6, which means we've tied.
And mine is rolled a 7, which takes him to a 14. So that is 2 more.
Excellent. Okie dokie. Round 3. I've rolled a 6.
Yeah, that's a lie.
And my opponent has rolled a 3.
Ooh.
So he is done.
My opponent has rolled an 8 for 15. So they are also done.
Fantastic. Okay. Yes, we have won. We leave the cavern and return to the junction. 283. You arrive back at the junction and progress westwards. Turn to 251. Okay, well, it didn't really cost us anything, but didn't gain us anything either. Picking east. So now it is west. 251. The passageway twists sharply northwards, and ahead you can hear water flowing. You eventually reach the south bank of an underground river. As you stand on the pebbled bank, you hear a fluttering of wings and look up to see 3 giant bats swooping down on you to attack. We have to fight them as a single creature. Okay? They're on the bank of an underground river. So, broadly, you can escape by jumping into the river. But they are skill 6, stamina 6, and we can fight them as a single unit. So effectively, we get 2 attacks on them each turn. So as a consequence, I'm not too worried about our chances.
Yeah, it feels okay, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think we're there. So, that is skill 6, stamina 6, and my first roll is a mere 4, however.
Mine is a 9 for 20.
Okay, and the bats have rolled a 6, which despite my terrible 4, means we've each landed a hit on them. So they are down to a stamina of 2 now. We just need one of us to land a hit.
Very nice.
I've rolled a 6.
And mine is an 8.
And the bats have rolled a 6. So that means the bats are done. And that means if you win, you turn to 3-4-4.
Very good.
And 3-4-4 says, you sheathe your sword and walk up to the water. Is it safe to swim? Although you cannot see any immediate signs of danger either in the water or around its banks, there is no way through on the north side of the river. You suddenly notice a gleaming sword lying on the riverbed several steps in. You wade in to retrieve it. It is light in your hand, far less cumbersome than your own weapon, and it has a keen edge. This marvellous weapon will add a point to your skill whilst you use it.
Ooh.
So I think for our purposes we have found 2 such swords. So we can actually have a boost to 10. Excellent. In my case, to 10. A mysterious voice speaking directly to your mind seems to be telling you to throw your own sword into the river. Will you?
Ooh.
If you do, turn to 56. But if you want to keep both swords, turn to 153. Okay, so how did it describe this sword? Sorry, it was a gleaming sword. Okay, gleaming sword. Okay. So, a mysterious voice speaking into your mind seems to be telling you to throw your own sword into the river. If you do, turn to 56. If you want to keep both swords, turn to 153. And we will find out what decision we make at the next time we play this book, because we have reached the river.
We have indeed, which I believe is roughly somewhere near halfway.
I'm sure it depends exactly how you play it, but that is what we was told. And given that the maze is in the second half, and the bigger monsters and all the rest, I think this is a good time to break.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Excellent. Also, we're just about in the process of running out of screen.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I do appreciate that. It's cramming it in at some point.
Excellent. So, yes, we will decide what to do the next time we play Warlock of Firetop Mountain. So, thank you, Ewan. That was fun.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ben. I think, actually, I can't remember. I'm going to have to rewatch our first playthrough now and see how we did in comparison, I think.
It is a curiosity for me now. I might have to wait. Yeah, I might have to wait until we finish this time.
Yeah, that's probably the better idea, to be fair.
Just in case there's a hint or something that we've forgotten in the first part.
Yeah.
But yes, we always said that the way these books were written was so that they had some replayability value, so you had to sort of have more than one go in order to learn the right way through. Well, it turns out there's actually quite a lot of replayability value, even if you don't remember which way you went last time. Because there were little bits I remembered, but there were plenty I'd forgotten.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember exactly what those little bits were telling us, if you know what I mean, or which decision we were meant to make. I definitely thought a couple of times, yes, I remember having to make this choice, but not remembering which one we made or how that ended up. Because of course it could just be bad, and who knows.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
yeah,
it was very good.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ewan. Thank you to everybody who watched either live or on VOD.
Very much so.
It's very, very kind of you to come along and spend some time with us. Hope you had some fun with the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. And I just point out, they eventually turned these books into sort of a standardized form with, you know, uniform color spines and things like that. But this is literally the first printing of the book, which I got when it was first printed, you know, in 81 82, sorry.
Yeah.
And originally they hadn't realised they were going to have lots of them yet, so they had this rather amazing piece of artwork which actually wraps all the way around the spine and onto the back of the book.
Very nice.
And I think that's rather lovely. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you, Ewan. We will, at some point, we'll always use this as a kind of fill-in when we're not doing something else. So I can't tell you exactly when it'll be, but we will resume at some point in the future. Until then, we will see you next Friday when we're hopefully doing some Traveller, I think, aren't we?
That is the plan, I believe. Yes.
Brilliant.
Hopefully, all being well.
All being well.
We'll be here with some Traveller.
So thank you very much, and good night.
Good night.